I love how you remember to get into camera as I'm pausing.
I'm sorry.
Like, you're out of camera, and then I'm like, all right, we'll be right back. And then you're like, ooh, I better get in camera every time. It's hysterical. It's like you're out of camera until I'm not filming anymore. And then
just stay like this for the next scene.
I'm all right with that. I love you.
Segment.
I love you. Don't stay like that. That would be rough. I mean, just have to talk. Shh, don't wake her. Okay, guys, we'll talk about odds and ends while she sleeps.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah Van Sliders. You, dear listener, have chosen for whatever reason to tune into another horrible gaming podcast. I am not alone. Mostly I'm never alone. With me is my lovely wife, Melissa Blazik, who is filling in for Neil, who is hosting his annual Friendsgiving today.
Hello.
Which we could not make it to. But, yeah, so Melissa has decided to chime in. Thank you, Melissa. Mm-hmm. She is not a gamer, ladies and gentlemen. If you have never seen before, she plays Prelude, and that's about it. And I usually have to drag her into that. So she's really here so that I'm not just like talking to myself, which is nice, and to make sarcastic comments at me. That's kind of her thing. Thank you, Melissa, for joining in, and thank you on behalf of Neil.
No problem. Sorry we couldn't make it.
Oh, the Friendsgiving. It's like, we're here. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. So, before we get into the show today, which will probably be a shorter show, I'm just going to do odds and ends and a couple of other things that I want to talk about, and fan traction, of course. And then we're going to wrap it up. But before we do that, we got to thank a couple of people. Behind my ugly mug and Melissa's beautiful mug, you are seeing a custom graphic that was designed by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And then, of course, the theme song for this show and all shows here on Old Man Gaming are designed by the man who makes the music, my brother Nick Van Sliders. We thank him for that.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Alright, so that brings us to our first segment, perhaps our most important segment. That is Fan Traction. That's where we read out all the comments we find from you wonderful fans and people. And we talk about them, we answer them, that sort of thing. So let's get into it. Let's make sure we got the right comments up. Okay, great. So first and foremost, we're going to start with Jason. Political ads today can all be boiled down to my opponent is evil and I'm not my opponent, so vote for me.
That is very true.
It is true. It is true. And I think it's personally ridiculous. We had talked about last week in the cold open, I had talked about how if I was offered partnership program by YouTube, I might not take it just because of the ads and stuff.
They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Terrible.
What bothers me is like they're so polarizing that if that ad was going to make you vote for the person, you were already going to vote for that person. You know, they're not getting any new people in.
What's funny was I had a conversation with somebody who works in the building I work in, and he tried to tell me that one parties were not slanderous to the other.
They're both.
That it was just one party always saying that the others are like evil, whatever. I'm like, do you stream Hulu or watch YouTube ever?
They're both.
Because I don't know who is what party. They don't even say half the time anymore in their ads. They're just like, this person murders everybody and this person rapes everybody and everybody's evil.
What blows my mind is, like I said, it doesn't, like, remember back in the day when they were crafty about it? And they would try and make the conservative one look more moderate, or they try and look the moderate one look more conservative to try to bring more. Now it's just let's get the same people mad who are already mad. You gotta move in closer to me.
Sorry.
There we go. Okay, so that's answered, I think. Moving on. You're surprised that Phil Spencer is a mean girl. No, I'm not surprised at all, Jason. I don't know if you listened to the last podcast, but I'm surprised that other people are surprised, and other people think that they treat him like he's their friend, and he's not. He's a piece of shit. I am in no way surprised that he's a mean girl.
I am surprised because I thought Phil was short for Philip.
What?
He's a mean girl?
Phil Spencer? Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
It was a poor attempt at a joke.
No, good try. Good try. I mean, we got a long show. That was a warm-up. We're going to call that a warm-up joke. William Owen. Hi! Exclamation point. Good news. Haven't heard any echo in the first 10 minutes, so all is good. Yeah, that turned out okay. I don't know why. Usually when that happens, there is a terrible echo, but worked out. A Zach rant. Woot! It's why I'm here. Parentheses, no joke. I think Phil should change his name. I think Phil should change his name for Phil Splendor.
Spender.
Yeah. On Starfield, who needs new games when you can play Castlevania Symphony of the Night, or Ninja Gaiden Black, or Resident Evil 4? Oh, I'm playing Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance for the first time. It's a Game Boy Advance game, and man, if you want to know how it feels to play Castlevania on an acid trip, this game is your ticket. It's whack. Thanks for the show. Cheers. Hashtag this is Zach's real voice now. Please, God, no. Please let me get my voice back. I tell you, on the subject of my voice, I have done a full battery of antibiotics now. I'm still on a steroidal inhaler,
yeah.
And it's not getting better. I have another doctor's appointment.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Not this coming, but the following.
Not this coming, because this coming's V-Day. Thursday's V-Day, baby.
You should be excited. You shared this?
Oh, I shared it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't think I shared it with the podcast people, actually. I've shared it on my streams, but I haven't shared it on my podcast. So that's it. I do want to also say, on the subject of Starfield, Neil sent me something really funny, and I think he probably would have talked about this if he was here. But if you look back when it was first announced, Todd Howard had basically called Starfield Skyrim in space, and then just recently Phil Spencer has said it's definitely not Skyrim in space. So the Starfield is a train wreck, and again, we talked about this last week. There's two types of people who you're going to get to be one of two different types of assholes for that game. You're either going to be an asshole who buys the game right away, realizes it's not anything of what they promised, gets mad at it, puts it away, or you're going to be an asshole who doesn't play it for like 2 years and then decides to play it, forgetting all the controversy around it being a piece of shit when it launched, and then gets mad at the people who don't want to play it because they played it in the first place, saying, oh, it's a good game, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about because they promised all this shit in the beginning. So choose which asshole you want to be for Starfield. Or you can not be an asshole and just not buy it, which I'm going to be that guy, but at the same time it's going to be on Game Pass, so I'm going to review that motherfucker. I'm going to review it hard. All right, so that's it for Fans Reaction. Nice short Fans Reaction today. What do you think about that? You have anything to add to any of that there, Melissa?
Not particularly.
You sure?
Yeah.
You want to chime in with your infinite game knowledge?
Although yesterday Aubrey and Stella found one of Philip's old, or maybe Jacqueline's old Game Boy.
I think
not
it's
the old school Game Boy.
The Game Boy Advance
from like when we were kids. It was like a little bit wider. And Stella was like, "Aunt Jacqueline, do you have batteries? Do you have any other games? Can I play on this?" And I'm like, she's moving. Like, she's like, even if I have batteries, I don't know where they are, and I don't know where the games are. And then Aubrey's just holding it up and going, click, cheese, click, like it's a camera.
Just for context, everybody, big shout out to Bill Master General, Phil Billy 330. He just moved into his new house. It's a beautiful new house. That's why we're sore. We were hoping to move yesterday. That's what we're talking about when being all together. Stella is definitely a gamer.
Yeah.
She's a gamer early, man.
She's like, what kind of games does it have? Is it like, what was it? Is this an old school Game Boy? She says to me, I was like, no, that actually isn't, because that is much more modern than anything I had as a kid. We had like the old Game Boy that was probably like the size
bigger
of your phone.
It's the gray one. Yeah.
But it was like thick.
Yep.
I'm not on the camera. It was thick, and it had this contraption that went over the top of it with a light and a magnifying glass. So that you could see the screen.
Because it was like yellow, and then if you were in the dark, it was just, it's not happening.
Yep.
You couldn't watch it. Yeah, I have one.
But this thing that they had was more wide. Like, not nearly as wide as the Switch, but a little bit more wide and kind of curved. It looked really like a bigger, like one of these controllers.
Yeah. I think it's Game Boy Advance or Game Boy DS, one of those. Yeah. One of the newer Game Boys. Because Switch is Nintendo, like that's where they've made their money for a long time, is the handheld market. Okay, well that's Fans Reaction. Like I said, I think we'll do a talking point because I want to talk a little bit about Sonic Frontiers, honestly, because I just got it. And we've talked about it a lot on this channel, this show. And then we'll do odds and ends and we'll be done. So we're gonna be right back with that fun stuff. We gotta get you. I'm gonna scoot over a little bit. We gotta get you a little bit because you're like Phantom of the Opera, and it's like this for you. The music of the night. Okay. It's the wrong side. Now the other side of your face.
I did that on purpose.
All right, we'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, that brings us to our talking point. It's probably going to be a short talking point because I don't think Melissa's going to have a ton to say on this. However, Sonic Frontiers is out.
I am aware.
You are aware. Why are you aware?
Because we had a conversation about where the cheapest place to get it was.
Damn straight. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The reviews came in, and it's a 3D Sonic game that isn't a complete and total pile of shit. And for some reason, that makes it... I have a weird theory about Sega's 3D Sonic games up until now, but I don't want to share it until the end. Sonic Frontiers is out. We've talked about it a lot. We thought it was going to be a trash fire on this show because just about every 3D Sonic game is a trash fire. It's not a trash fire. It got a 7 out of 10 on IGN. I think IGN actually dinged it on some things that it didn't deserve to get dinged on.
Well, but didn't you say they only did it on...
They did it on PS5.
PC? Oh, okay.
PS5 is what they...
Because you got it on Nintendo.
Yes, I did not purchase it right away because all the pre-release reviews were PS5. And I get nervous because every time... Because what they'll do... Little inside baseball for you. What they'll do is... They'll send out pre-release copies to all the big names like IGN, Kotaku, Games Radar, all of them so that they can review the game ahead of time. Right. However, they only ever send out the copies on one thing.
Right.
Well, that's not true. Sometimes they send them out on multiple, but when they only send them out on one, I get real nervous.
Right.
Been burned by that before, aka Borderlands 3. They sent out all their pre-release copies on PC so that you couldn't play local co-op. Then when the reviews were all 9s out of 10s or 10s out of 10s, then when the game came out, the local co-op was absolutely broken on console. So that kind of tricky shit is real rough. Same with Cyberpunk, even though I still think it was over-reviewed. It sent out all of its copies on PC. Didn't let anybody touch the Xbox One version, which was broken.
Right.
It actually forced IGN to do another review about that one because they gave it a 9 out of 10 on the first time around, and then they were like, okay, the one on Xbox One is a 4 out of 10.
Right.
So I did not get it right away. I was excited, but I didn't get it right away because I wanted to get it on Switch, and so that Stella could play it a little bit easier than coming down and getting on the PC. So we waited until a Switch review came out. Mm-hmm. Then a couple Switch reviews came out, and it was still good. It was still a good thing. So went out, purchased it, got it home. It's good. It's a good game.
Good.
It's a good game.
Has she played it?
She has played it.
What does she think?
She's having a hard time with it. She was really excited about it. But
I thought it was weird because I knew she was playing it this morning, and then when I came out of the room, you were playing it and she was watching TV. I'm like,
well,
why did Stella give up the Nintendo.
I decided
on a brand new game.
I decided I'm not gonna help her with this one.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna try and talk her through it so that she can get that sense of achievement. So she did good. She beat some bosses that she couldn't beat before, but she had to play those bosses repeatedly. Right. And I think by the time she had gotten through them, she was like, "Okay, I need a break."
Yeah.
Which is like, fine, no problem, whatever. But yeah, she enjoyed it. This Sonic is different from all other 3D Sonics, or all other 2D Sonics for that matter, because it's open world. Do you know what the concept of open world is? No. Okay, so an open world game is a game that the world is this huge expansive thing. There is a story to it, but you could just go anywhere in that world. Okay. And then there's things that you interact with to get missions and side quests or main stories or whatever. Okay. So like...
So like Skyrim.
Yes, yeah. It's Skyrim versus like a Mario, which is like level based, or then you have much more in depth narrative based things like I'm having a hard time coming up with a good reference for you since you don't play a lot of stuff, but like things that are driven towards a path. You know what I mean? This is something where it's like, here's the world, go wherever you want. Okay. There's a couple of things that are locked off that you have to do things to open up, but like it's just open. You just go, and then there's things to interact with and do. I think this is actually a great move for Sonic. I actually really enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying it. It's kind of brought back my love of Sonic a little bit, which is nice. They have some great mechanics in there. The exploration is really cool. Like you'll just find a spring thing and you have to do a couple of jumps and then you'll be in a place where you weren't and you'll be able to collect some things. There's a lot of collectability in it and stuff like that. Some of the boss fights are awesome. IGN actually said that the combat was too repetitive and too easy. I didn't necessarily find that. It is a little bit easy on the base level, but when you get into they didn't like the mini bosses. The mini boss experience has been one of my favorite things so far.
A game like Sonic, it's a kid's game, right? Like,
yeah,
you can't have everything be this like
super hard, right?
Great artistic, difficult thing. Like sometimes it's just a game for kids.
Like, you can't have a Dark Souls Sonic.
Let it be a game for kids.
And honestly, they've added so many mechanics to this one that in some ways they move it away from kids a little bit, which is a little bit of a mistake. I agree. I mean, I'm happy to have the complication.
Right. But I mean, I feel like, and maybe it's because my exposure to gaming is through you, obviously an adult. But like, I feel like every game is
only in physical appearance. I assure you.
But I mean, are there games that are geared just towards kids? Like when we were kids, all video games were geared towards kids.
I got some on my computer. I got Peppa Pig on here. There's Paw Patrol games and stuff like that.
Right, but those are like licensed games. Those are just money grabs. I mean, like, think about when we were kids. Okay. All video games were geared towards kids.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
I mean, Super Mario Brothers, it was... it was geared to... I don't want to say all. Most video games.
I'm about to say, Zelda is not geared towards kids.
No, and I agree, and that's why I changed it. But a lot of video games were geared towards kids. And I feel like with video games, they're trying to stick with that same... Not the same demographic, but those same kids that they were pushing for 40 years ago or 30 years ago, they're still trying to appeal to those same kids who are now 40 and 50-year-old people. Like, just do something for kids. It's Sonic. It's a cartoon character. It's a character that, it's the opposite. Like, Paw Patrol and all that, that's licensed into gaming just as a money grab. Sonic was licensed into... cartoons geared towards kids. It's a kid's character. Make a Sonic game for kids. And I'm not saying that an adult shouldn't be able to enjoy it, but I think that's kind of shitty of a rating or a reviewer to be like, oh, it's too easy. It's a kid's game. Yeah. It should
That's a good point. That's a really good point, honestly. I would say that kids could definitely play this. I think they would have a harder time with this than like Mario Odyssey or like Kirby in the Forgotten Worlds is much more kid accessible. And that one strikes a really good balance because that one got me.
Right.
And I could see how it's very kid playable, and it still, like, got me into it.
Like, I don't have a problem with grown-ups playing games. I'm just saying, like, that pisses me off that they would say that it's too easy. It's a kid's game. It's a game that should be geared toward kids.
Right. So that was one of the things they had a problem with. I actually found one of the side boss battles to be really, really cool and interesting. There's this boss that just flies around the map, and it leaves this trail of, like, kind of like, I don't know, like hard light, I guess is the best thing. And it just flies around there. And this is the kind of cool stuff that they definitely took marks from Breath of the Wild. Even though this is very different from Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's a lot of things that make you think that, like the weird things just flying around the map that you're like, how do I interact with that?
Right.
You know, this is one of them where there's this robot. It's flying around in the sky, and it's got this, like, kind of like hard light tassel behind it at all times. Well, you can land on the tassel. So what you want to do is you want to figure out its pattern, then get on a bridge and wait for it to fly under you, then jump on the tassel. And then it starts this fight where you have to run up the tassel while it's flying around and shooting at you from the front. So you have to dodge the things, but it's flying through and leaving the tassel. So you're doing loop-de-loops and corkscrews. Okay. It's so cool. It's so... Only Sonic could do that. And I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe IGN dinged it for, like, crappy mid-bosses when I'm doing this. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is Sonic to a T, in my opinion. The other mid-boss, you need to scoot towards me a little bit, the other mid-boss, you could, like, you have to, it's giant, and you have to wait for it to try and smash you with a big hand, and once it does, you can run up its hand and get on its head to hit it, which I was like, this is so cool, you know? It's very Sonic-y. My negatives. Really, and I'm going to do a review on this. I'm going to try and get it up tomorrow. Real easy to run off the map and die. Like, I don't know who was doing the level design. They put a lot of grinding rails, too, above parts that aren't over the map. And if you just miss a rail, you just die.
Oh.
I'm like, geez. Like, there's not even like, you lose rings and then we put you back there. No, like, you'll just be running and then you'll be like, oh, shit, that's a cliff. Oh! And then you're done. There'll be a lot of moments like that. There's a lot of quality of life stuff, like when you're doing your upgrades, because you can upgrade
quality of life.
Quality of life.
The work-family balance isn't good.
No. Quality of life is a gaming industry term that means, like, it's not a big upgrade to the game, but it's something that you put in the game to make it easier for people to play.
Okay.
So, like, a quality of life upgrade, this is a good thing. You can upgrade Sonic in this game. His speed, his attack, his defense, everything. To do that, you have to go to these little guys called hermits, and you have to trade in stuff for them so that they upgrade you. But you can't upgrade, like, if you have enough to upgrade yourself, like, 7 times, you can't upgrade yourself 7 times. You have to go, I want to upgrade speed. Wait for the animation. I have to upgrade speed. Wait for the animation. That's a quality of life. It's like... Quality of life would be like, do it 7 times once, we're done, okay, bye.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. But I actually really enjoy it. It's brought me back to a point where it's like, this is a fun Sonic game, and it's 3D. They've finally kind of gotten the 3D feel of it a little bit. And that's nice. I do want to say, I think it's like a weird conspiracy that, like, every 3D Sonic game has been complete shit. So now we've got one that's just slightly above average, and it's like, it makes me love Sonic again! Like, I feel like they, like, reduced our expectations so low that all they had to do was the bare minimum of a quality game, and then it's like, here you go! Yes!
I mean, that's how I work.
Yeah, right? It's the way to go.
I'm really shitty until they're about to fire me, and then I actually work for a day, and they're like, oh, okay. We'll keep you around. It's not true.
I also want to talk on one other thing, just in case you haven't watched the review. They were really dinged for pop-in, which is where, like, the game can't move. The game can't render objects fast enough for you to move. So, like, So, like, you should be able to see, like, something, but you're moving so fast that it can't load fast enough, and it appears when you're way too close to it.
Is that an issue because of the Switch?
It's not an issue for me at all. I haven't had any real issue with pop-in. That's what I was going to say. IGN really dinged it, and they actually had some footage of, like, terrible pop-in where, like, Sonic's going through the air and then the platform he's about to land on appears with rings on it right before he hits it. I haven't noticed any pop-in, guys. I'm playing on Switch, and I've only played handheld. I've noticed some distance pop-in, like floating platforms in the distance that I should have seen earlier, but they're still really far off. I couldn't have interacted with them anyway.
Right.
So all it does is detach me from the reality of the game a little bit, but it doesn't cause any actual functional issue. So maybe it's a PS5 thing, but like I haven't really noticed pop-in to the level that IGN and the other games have. So I just want to say that. And I might notice it more. I've only played about 4 hours, so I'm going to try and get my last hour in tonight before doing the review.
Don't you have to capture for your review?
I do.
How are you going to do that?
I'm going to wait because we're recording the podcast that I would record after you guys are asleep. I'm going to wait for you guys to be asleep, and then I'm going to record
on your capture card
during my last hour and then bring it down and edit
Gotcha.
it. That's some inside baseball for you guys. All right, well, that's it for Sonic Frontiers. I don't know, is there anything else you want to add to it?
Not particularly.
Okay, all right, moving on. We're going to hit some odds and ends, wrap this thing up because Melissa wants to be done. I want to be done too. I'm not going to lie to you.
Say, don't pin this on me.
I love you guys.
I haven't said anything.
I love you guys, but I'm sore and I just want to lay down and watch trash TV for the rest of the day. So, we'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hi, everybody. We've lost Melissa. Be quiet. I'll try and do odds and ends quiet. Sing a lullaby every time you start to wake up. Go to sleep.
I can't even fake snore without coughing.
Right. All right. So, odds and ends, ladies and gentlemen. I have 5. Let's do it. Number 1. This is a rough one. Okay, so I believe 2, maybe 3 years ago. No, it'd have to be 2. It'd have to be 2 years ago. Ubisoft announced the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, which has had nothing but controversy since. I was kind of excited about it when it was announced, but since then they've said they're not getting the same voice actors back. They're not doing a lot of the stuff that they were going to do with it, and it's been completely up in the air as to which studio's doing it, but they still had set a release date and allowed for pre-orders. Well, guess what? They are refunding those pre-orders. That's right. If you pre-ordered the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, you are getting a refund for the pre-purchase cost, which is great. However, they ought, because I'm like, okay, this game's canceled, right? They have said, no, it's definitely still being made. It's definitely still coming out. And I feel like we're suddenly in a weird Skull and Bones situation again. The game that's been in development for like 7 years that only people in the Insider program have been able to play at all. So it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky.
Are there laws on how long they can hold people's money?
No. However, they tend to give them back when they lose dates. Okay. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the minute they start holding people's money hostage without a release date,
right,
shit going to get bad for people.
I didn't know if there were laws. Like,
it's something I want. I actually want laws. Personally, I don't want you to be able to pre-purchase a game until 30 days before its launch.
I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. I just, like in banking, they're only allowed to have 3 months or in escrow.
If there is a
like
law,
that sort of thing, 3 months above,
right,
in escrow, or they have to refund it. I didn't know.
If there is a law, I am not aware of it, nor have I ever heard of it.
Okay.
That being said, I could be ignorant to such things. Mm-hmm. I do not believe there is a law. I have often said on the show, I think pre-purchases will cause a lot of the problems with gaming, like the overhype
Yeah.
The over thing, because these people, they rush to announce them and they rush to get a date
well,
so that they could collect your pre-purchase money.
It kind of made sense when like everybody had physical games. Like obviously, if you're pre-purchasing it and they only are releasing 1,000 physical games, you are going to be one of the 1,000.
Right.
But it's digital. You don't have to go to a store and get it. It just seems silly to me.
And
I've
honestly,
said that before.
even if you're going to the store, you're going to get a copy nowadays. Like, they haven't had supply chain issues like that. Or, like, they haven't done that where it's like, we're only releasing 6,000 at first.
Right, but
the beginning of time.
Because the majority of people get them digitally, so they don't have those issues anymore.
There's enough spread, too, across the consoles that, like,
right.
nobody... I can't remember the last time I went into, like... Well, I buy mostly digitally now, but I can't remember the last time I went into a GameStop and they didn't have the game I wanted to purchase.
Well, I mean, you had to go to a couple places to get Sonic.
However, I wasn't going to game stores.
Yeah, no.
The minute I called a game store, they had it. I got it at CD Game Exchange.
But like Target didn't have it.
Target didn't have it.
For Nintendo. They had it for PlayStation.
They had PlayStation 5,
Yeah. They didn't have it for Nintendo.
Switch,
Walmart said they had it.
Walmart says they have a lot of things.
Yeah.
Every time she looks something up, Walmart's got it, I get there, and I send her a picture of the spot where it's supposed to be and not there.
This is how we shop. Zach goes, I don't think they have it here. I can't find it. And I, sitting in front of a computer, go to that website, and it says nope, or it's in aisle K9 or whatever.
Big facts.
Yeah.
Real facts. Okay. So, I just quoted Bachelor in Paradise on the show. Nobody watching is going to know it.
Maybe we have some ridiculous people watching.
We might. So
it's a fun show to make fun of.
It is a fun show to make fun of. So, what was I going to say? I think that pre-purchase is a huge problem with the industry. I think it's why people overhype. I think it's why they do it. Then they can keep moving that date without giving that money back, and they use that money to basically finish the game. Right. You know, it goes into all that stuff. I think a lot of problems would be cleared up if they were like, if there was a law that was basically like, you can't pre-purchase a game till 30 days before.
Well, yeah, because if you're using my money to finish the game, then I'm an investor in your company. I should at least get some return on that investment.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like they treat you like Kickstarter without any rewards. It's very irritating. I think I'm glad they gave the money back, but I'm kind of wondering when if this game is ever going to see the light of day. Next one up. Monster Hunter fans, this might be good news for you, this might be terrible news for you. I think it's going to be shitty, but I'm kind of a pessimist when it comes to these things. Monster Hunter is making a mobile game. They have teamed up with, I think Tencent, because Tencent makes every goddamn mobile game. They're bringing Monster Hunter to mobile, and they say that they're going to capture the same mechanics that people love about Monster Hunter and put it on your phone and yada, 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 yada. Look, there have been some good ports to mobile. I'm not going to say they're not. I don't know about this one, though. This one makes me very nervous. It's part of this weird rush to put everything on mobile at some point, which is... these are powerful little devices, guys. They are. They're powerful little gaming systems, too. People don't realize that. I would love to get less shovelware on here, but what's that going to be? The other thing is, too, I don't spend money on games on my phone. No. Even if they're good. Even if it's like, this is a good game, you got to spend $20 to get it on your phone. It's a great game. No. I'm not going to spend $20 on my phone game. I'm just not. So, I might be part of the problem. I don't know, but it comes down to that.
I don't think we're that weird in that, though. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because they say that, that was how Candy Crush became so popular, because people would pay, the 99 cents or the whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, who the hell is paying 99 cents to get more turns or whatever it was? I don't know. But people were obviously doing it to the point where they were making bazillions of dollars.
Right.
So maybe we are weird in that regard.
I don't know. I will say William Hohen, a huge fan of the show, plays almost exclusively on mobile. A lot of his games, yes.
I remember Neil saying that he played a game. I don't remember what it was.
Neil streams.
And he said he played it on his phone. I'm like, what?
Neil streams to his phone. He does game streaming too.
Oh, okay.
He uses Project xCloud, and then like he has a Razer Kishi, which is basically it makes your phone into a Switch.
Okay.
And then he streams the game from his Xbox library to his phone.
So he didn't necessarily buy the game.
I mean, it's still mobile gaming in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't buy a phone game and play it that way. But William Ho-Win buys a lot of mobile games and plays it there. Villagers and Heroes is one of the ones he likes. He's played Shovel Knight Dig, and then there was a couple other ones that I can't remember the names, man. I know the CRPGs that you've been playing, but he plays almost exclusively on his phone because that's when he has time between jobs at work. So
yeah, and I get that.
I get that too.
Maybe it is more common. I don't know.
My problem is that mobile usually equals less quality.
Right.
And like I would be much more apt to buy like a $10 game that was made just for mobile by itself by like an independent developer than have like one of these like big mobile companies that just port good PC games into shitty mobile games.
Right.
Like, so I don't know. Like, would I buy that Monster Hunter game? I don't think so.
Right.
But still, if you're excited about it, you're going to get a Monster Hunter experience on your phone. What that's going to be, time will tell. Next, I wish Neil was here for this one. Horizon is probably would have been one of his odds and ends that I'm stealing. So we'll see if he listens to this show. I'm going to quiz him.
I'm sure he'll listen.
We'll see.
He's got to listen.
We'll see.
If he's going to be hosting with you next week, he's got to listen.
We'll see.
Not that I listened to last week's to prepare for this week.
You don't listen to the show at all, though.
I don't, no. No offense.
She's not a gamer, guys. Yeah, I get it.
Occasionally, if I know you're talking about something that I'm interested in, I'll find like just that segment and listen to it. But
oh, that's sweet. I want to do I like podcasting with you. I think we have a good on mic rapport. That's one of the reasons I like doing Preludes so much.
The problem is that we have nothing in common, so what will we talk about?
Well, the other problem is that's not true. We have Bachelor. We have Trash TV.
Do you want to do a garbage TV podcast?
That'd be awesome.
With me?
There's tons of them out there.
You gotta start watching Housewives.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
It's fun. No. It's so much.
There's got to be a contest involved to get me in. Here's the thing. The real problem, which is why I haven't done it yet, is I have no platform for it.
Right.
My platform is a gaming channel that has 340 people. I don't know how much the gamers on my gaming channel would like to hear us talk about Bachelor. You know? So I don't know. Either I have to rebrand the channel or something. I don't know. In any case, moving on.
You've worked very hard for a very long time for these 300 and whatever
40. I have. I think she's making fun of me, but I have.
I am.
I have. I've worked for almost 3 years now. 4 years. 3 years? 3 years? I don't know. I've worked for a very long time.
You got this computer about 2 years ago.
Yeah. Did I start doing stuff too? I was doing stuff before that, though, in the basement with my stupid phone. Remember when I have to... Guys, Inside Baseball, the Let's Plays on this channel from before, I had to record. I recorded them on the Xbox with a flash drive, and then I had to literally record. I had to make this castle, this like tower next to my chair, and then put my phone on it and hit record while we were recording and have the person on the other side do that and send me their audio file. That's how me and Phil had to do all of On the Hunt.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't remember that? I used to build this stack out of boxes next to me.
I do.
And then I'd put the phone on the top of the boxes. I'd have to hit it with an MP3 recorder. And then Phil or Neil on the other hand would have to do that.
Yeah.
First couple of seasons of Halo. First couple of seasons of... all of On the Hunt is that. And On the Hunt is great. You guys should check it out. It's an old show on this channel. It's back in the day, but me and Phil did all of Monster Hunter World. All the monsters, and we had a contest where if you went down 3 times, you had to do a gauntlet to keep your weapon or you'd have to completely rebuild your character. It was a lot of fun. It was a great one. I love that show.
I do remember you guys doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before we moved.
Yeah. But I had to build this stack of boxes next to me and put the phone right here. and then hope I didn't bump it or the whole thing would fall over. It was terrible. So it's like a tote on top of another tote, on top of like a box, on top of something else. I had like 4 objects that I just hide around the living room that looked in the right spot. And then like, because we lived in the condo, so like I'd put like one over here on the mantle. Oh, that makes sense there. One over here. And then like some of them, a lot of them were Stella's toys.
Yeah.
And then like it would be game time and I'd go around the room like a scavenger hunt and pick up all the objects to build my weird recording tower to do shit. It was ridiculous. That's inside baseball for you guys. All right, so we didn't even get to say the thing. This is an oversaturation thing. Horizon Zero Dawn. We've been talking about it for a while. Great set of games. However, they have announced tons of games coming out for this. Neil, who's a big fan of this series, is very fearful of oversaturation. I feel like it's going this way. But they have already announced a VR game. They announced a versus multiplayer game. Now it appears that they are making an MMO, a massive multiplayer online game. So that's interesting. Again, I like the world of Horizon. I am a little bit for some of these ideas because I like character creators. I like making my own character and doing my own thing in games. Like, that's my favorite type of game. I don't necessarily go in for narrative experiences. Horizon is very narrative. You play Aloy. She is a very specific character with a very specific background. And while it is an open world, you are moving through her storyline. Mm-hmm. I personally love that world, but would much rather get to play my own created character in that world. An MMO would let me do that, I would assume. That being said, oversaturation is real. They also have like 2 series planned for that one. So yeah, I mean, they need to chill out on that, let it breathe a little bit, and we get into this zone. We talk about it a lot, franchise fatigue. And franchise fatigue is where like you look at Halo Infinite that came out, half of the people who played the first Halo, like a lot of people playing this Halo weren't even born when the first Halo came out. Mm-hmm. You know, like, why are we still making this game? Why don't we make another game? You get these franchise fatigues, and it's because developers want the like guaranteed money, but at the same time, at some point, it's not guaranteed anymore because nobody wants to jump in on number 7. You know?
Well, and it's the same thing that I was saying. They're still making the games for the people they started making the games for, who are now 30 years beyond it, and they don't care anymore. Or they're not that they don't care, but like they're over it.
Or it's the reverse.
And then the newer people, like you said, don't want to jump in on Game 7, so now you have no demographic.
Or it's the reverse, and you get this like the people. You're not making it for the people who originally started. They get mad because you try and shift it, and like
I imagine
get into the same situation.
Well.
It does. So I don't know. I think that we need to start, or at least or at least give some of these franchises time to breathe.
Yeah.
There's only so many AAA developers too. If they're all making a franchise, that the world becomes very not fun. Yeah. You know, I like new IPs. I like trying new things. If you are a Project Cars fan, Project Cars is a realistic racer slash working on car game. It's been considered one of the big competitors to like Gran Turismo and Horizon. Not Horizon, Forza. It is dead. EA has decided to shutter this project. It is no longer making Project Cars games. So if you have been a fan of Project Cars, no longer will there be Project Cars games. Prepare yourself. Look, I don't know, like, I've never played a Project Cars game. I am a fan of the Forza, well, I was a fan of Forza Horizon. They have moved away from the things that I like from them, so I have moved away from them. But nonetheless, I've never been a big Gran Turismo guy. I've said it before, lack of competition creates staleness in what you have. Now you only have 2 mainline AAA racers out there. Well, unless you count Need for Speed, but who does? It's a crappy game. They're usually crappy. You end up breeding this like thing where they don't have to make good games anymore because they know they're the only racers out there. The less of them there are, so that's kind of a bummer. Anything to add, madam?
No.
All right, last one. Mr. Dave Bautista has called out Netflix. That's right. So this is for you. Dave Bautista loves one video game, and that is Gears of War. He's a huge Gears of War fan. Gears of War, I think, is kind of ridiculous. It's made by Cliff Bleszinski, who's, look, I'm just going to say it. He's an asshole. He's a giant asshole. He's a big bro culture guy. But he made this game about these guys who, like, fight aliens, but they're all, like, really rippled muzzles and stuff like that. And Dave Bautista loves those games. Loves them. Shocker. He's a big muscly guy. But he actually looks like a character from Gears of War. And he actually is so ingrained in Gears of War culture. He actually was a playable character in one of the like multiplayer Gears, one of the more recent ones. They put him in the game. Okay. Like in the armor is Dave Bautista, and you can play Dave Bautista. But he has a set of Gears of War armor because of that when they were doing the ad campaign.
Okay.
Recently, Netflix basically said, we're going to make a Gears of War movie. They announced they're making a Gears of War movie. So Dave Bautista took to Twitter in that suit of armor and just like basically looked at the camera and was like, your move, Netflix. Like hung it up. Like there's nobody else for me. I'm going to say this right now. I'm not a huge Gears of War guy. I'm a huge Dave Bautista fan, but either way, you're dumb if Dave Bautista is not in this movie.
Has Netflix not, like, is he not in it, or
they haven't cast anybody?
Okay.
We've got an announcement. We don't know anything.
So you're saying he called Netflix out and, like...
Put me in this movie.
Okay.
Put me in this movie now. Yeah. So
I thought you meant, like, Netflix did something wrong and he's causing us...
Netflix was like, we're making a Gears of War movie, and Dave Bautista was like, yo!
Yeah.
Right here, baby. So if Dave Bautista isn't in that movie, it's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Netflix. Like, I don't know who you got doing casting on this movie. Dave Bautista must be in Gears of War, period. I don't care if he's the main character. I don't care if he's the side. He's got to be in there. People will be physically upset if he's not in there. So that's a fun one. And I love Dave Bautista. He's going to be in Glass Onion, which I'm super excited for.
That comes out soon. And that's
It comes out in theaters soon. It doesn't come out for us.
No, that's a Netflix.
It's a Netflix original, but they're doing it 30-day theater release.
What?
Yeah. It comes out, I think, Christmas
So wait a minute,
Eve.
he's already in a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
He's going to be in that.
He's going to be in it. He's got to be in it. Well, who isn't in a Netflix movie? That's all they do is make movies with giant stars.
Probably
whether it's got a plot or not.
Well, and from what I understand, Netflix will do like we want you in this movie, so we're going to give you like a 10-movie contract or whatever. That's why it was a big joke that Adam Sandler was only doing movies because he signed like an 8-movie contract deal with Netflix or something like that. Like they've kind of gone back to the old ways of like Judy Garland times when the studios would not own.
The Adam Sandler one was a little bit different though because they wanted Adam Sandler specifically to make the movies.
Right, I know, but I'm saying like that's how Netflix is doing their deals, where they're signing these actors on and saying, we want you in this movie, but we're going to give you 3 movies.
Right.
They don't necessarily have the next 2 movies planned out. Right. So if he's already under contract with Netflix, that's kind of a no-brainer.
And Netflix has gotten The Rock a bunch of times too. What if Dave Bautista and The Rock are finally in a movie together? Just get all the meatheads. Get John Cena in there.
They always play the same character in different movies.
No. Batista's a better actor. I'm saying it. I'm saying it, Internet. Dave Bautista is a better actor than The Rock. Done.
I'm not arguing that.
Hot take.
I'm not even... I have no dog in that fight. But, like, The Rock does the movie where he's in a tutu and then with the little girl, and Dave Bautista does a movie where he is driving a cab with a little girl. I don't remember exactly what it is.
That was Kamal and Johnny.
Uh-huh.
The cab movie was Kamal and Johnny. Kamal and
I don't think it was.
He did do a movie with a little girl, the spy one.
But yes.
Where he was murdering everybody. Poor Kamal and Johnny.
I don't think that was Kamal. I don't think that was him.
I I think it was Kimono
I think it
Joe.
was the other guy that I always get confused with him. I don't know. Regardless.
I love... So there you go. Hot takes. Dave Bautista, better actor than The Rock. Kamal and Johnny as a little girl. Anyway, yeah, I would love to. I get all the meatheads in it. It should be a meathead movie.
They already made one. It was called The Expendables.
No,
all the old meatheads.
But they're old meatheads. I don't want to get the new meatheads. New meathead movie. John Cena.
Are those really new meatheads? They're all actually older than us.
They're new to the movie. The movie section.
So you basically just want a WWE movie.
No, I don't.
John Cena, The Rock, and Batista. Who else?
Meatheads wise? Mm-hmm. I mean, all the meatheads come from there. What do you want me to say? That's where they come from now. They didn't used to come from there. They used to come from, like, the streets or Europe.
The streets.
But, well, that's where Rocky came from. Or not Rocky.
Sylvester Stallone.
We gotta be done.
He's in a TV show now.
Yeah, the King of Tulsa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird to see.
It's the Sopranos in Tulsa.
Oh.
I mean, I like Sly, but it's not...
Sly. Like your
Sly.
buds.
Sly, we can go back. Hey, yo. Adrian.
You don't even know where Philadelphia is.
Go 15 rounds, that's all I want to do.
Okay, that's enough. Please.
You know, like my stuff...
Please let this be done.
Alright, we'll be back with promotions and wrap-up.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Alright, so that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Melissa, do you want to plug anything?
No.
I know of one thing she wants to plug. In any case...
Ew.
Nobody's going to get that because everything was said in between. I'm going to promote something for her. She is on Prelude to Divorce with me on Sundays. Monster Prom we're playing. We're both drunk through it. It was amazing. We both had a lot of fun. The first 2 episodes are up. There's 4 total episodes, even though we keep saying we're going to get it done in 3.
Did we do
don't.
4?
We did 4.
Oh.
Like, we will have to record Thanksgiving weekend.
God damn it.
Yep. We got more time that week. That's fine. So there you guys go. Check that out. I also want to promote Horrible Game Awards are coming up. If you want to get your nominations in, November 30th is the cutoff. You cannot nominate anything that comes out after the 14th. And if you are in the committee, you can nominate up to 3 things in each category. Please. You can nominate up to 3 things. Apparently there was some wires crossed. People are not getting that. In any case, we'll start working on putting that together soon. At some point, my voice has got to get better, and I'll be able to do some of the fucking projects that I've been working on in the background. Please. All right, we're going to wrap this up.
Bye.
We're contact us on Facebook at OmegaMingDH, on Twitter at OmegaMing9. Join our Discord, links in the description below. Influence us and all of our shows from there. Comment. As long as you keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. On the subject of Game Boy, as I was taking Stella home last night from the move, because you were still there with them, she was like, Dad, they have a Game Boy.
Oh, she told you.
She started telling me about it, and I was like, yeah, I got a Game Boy too. Apparently I don't anymore, but I was like, I got a Game Boy too. It's dead. And she was like, well, what games do you have? I was like, well, I just have a Pokemon game, but again, it's dead. It doesn't work. And she's like, well, you can put batteries in it. No. It's not dead like Uncle Phil's, where it's just the batteries are dead. It's dead like it stopped working. And she's like, I don't understand. I was like, it doesn't work anymore. And she's like, okay, but you can put more batteries in it. I was like, no. Sometimes technology stops working. It just dies. I was like, honestly, I'm surprised the Dreamcast works.
Yeah.
And she's like, the Dreamcast could die? And I was like, oh my God. What have I done? What hell have I wrote upon myself? Sometimes this happens. Technology is very flimsy. It breaks down after a certain amount of time. She's like, they all break down? I was like, yeah. The Switch you play upstairs is not going to be the Switch you play for the rest of your life. What? Like, it was like...
Oh, my.
It was like she discovered in her small 6-year life that, like, technology isn't permanent. like last night.
That's funny.
It was real rough.
Poor
real
Stella.
Rough. Yeah. Pause.
I have to go potty.
How bad do you have to go potty?
Let's wrap it up.
Okay. All right. You got 2 minutes? Or you need to go right
I got
now?
2 minutes in me.
All right, go on in. You got 2 minutes of stuff.
Okay, come on.
3, 2, 1. So terrible.